Alright, hello, my name is Max Bachman, and I'm kind of starting a new YouTube channel here, and I'm a huge sports fan, as you'll come to find out here on my channel. But I really love sports, specifically basketball and soccer, and that's going to be what a lot of what I'm talking about here is. So, basically, I'm going to just describe a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to go in and dive into what I think are going to be the standings and where teams are going to finish and how well each team's going to do in this next NBA upcoming season, the 2018-19 season. So I live in Severna Park, Maryland. I'll talk about the teams I like. I am a huge Washington Wizards fan, but my favorite team out of any team in the world is Arsenal Football Club. I'm a huge Arsenal football club, soccer that is, American terms, and I love it. I'm a Gunner with all my heart. Some other teams I like, casually, I'm a Redskins fan. I'm essentially just a Washington, D.C. fan because I live so close to D.C. D.C. United, I guess, in the MLS, the Washington Capitals, and go Caps. Casual fan for that as well. And then some more obscure teams I like. I really like Hearts Football Club in Scotland. That's my favorite team there. Let's see. Hearts Football Club. I also, I have an affinity for Stoke City. Weird, I'm a big Peter Crouch fan. For all you soccer fans out there. College sports, Syracuse and Indiana. That's where my parents went. My dad went to Syracuse, my mom went to Indiana, so I'm a big hoops college fan. And I can talk about college basketball too, but I'm not really as informed on that. But let's go ahead and get started with the talking about each team. So here's how I'll do this. I'm going to have I'm going to go through every team, through all the divisions, talk for a few minutes with each, and at the end I'm going to give my my standings, my playoff standings prediction, and then my who's going to go on to win the finals and blah, 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 and such. So I'm just going to go and check to make sure this is still filming. Okay. There's something over there. Hi. Alright, so now it's on me. Alright, let's get back to this then. So, just starting off. So, we'll start with the Atlantic Division, which is, well, okay, so obviously the East, outside of the top three teams, kind of a joke. And I'm a Wizards fan, but I'm trying to keep bias out of this. Because as much as I love the Wizards, we're not going to be an amazing team this season. I can see us playing well, but we're not going to be. So I'm going to remain unbiased, and you don't have to worry about a biased opinion because I don't really care. I don't love any of the other teams. You know how it is. So we'll start with Celtics. So Celtics are a very, very, very exciting team. I don't like the Celtics, not at all. Not since 2 years ago when Isaiah Thomas kind of went off on us Wizards in the finals. But this team is so exciting. I just cannot wait to watch them play, especially with Gordon Hayward back, Kyrie Irving back. I mean, they did so well. And also I'm going to be talking about each team's draft pick. So I'll be intertwining that in there. So the Celtics are a very, very fascinating team, and I really am excited to see how they play this year. I really like... I'm interested to see the dynamic with Jason Tatum, phenomenal player. He's bound to take some minutes back because now you have Kyrie back, you have Gordon Hayward back. Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, I agree Jason Tatum will be a better player in the long run, but right now Gordon Hayward's the better player. So he's going to get more touches than Jason Tatum. Notice they're competing with Jaylen Brown, who's a phenomenal player too. I think Jason Tatum also is going to be a better player, and maybe already is a better player, but the minutes there, and Brad Stevens, phenomenal coach. He's a fantastic coach. But the problem is always going to be getting these personalities to work well together. And Kyrie Irving, like, what is he doing? He wants to go to the Knicks or something? He is such an alpha dog, and it's kind of weird. I don't really understand. He has a perfect situation in Boston, but, I guess if you're a superstar like that, you just want to be the person in your own team. So we'll see what he does in the next free agency window next year. But this current team is stacked. I think they're the best team in the East. I think a lot of people agree with that. I think it won't be a cakewalk. I mean, obviously LeBron being out of the East is great for them, but it won't be a cakewalk for them to get into the finals. But if I had to back a team to go to the finals from the East, it would be the Celtics. And their draft pick, Robert Williams, my goodness, falling all the way to 27th, that is such a great deal for them. And I've heard there's problems with his motor, how much his work ethic, but for that amount of talent, and he's not even going to have to do much. I mean, he's really just going to be a rim running center. Will do work for Terry Rozier and Kyrie Irving to feed him lobs and get easy rebounds. And at 27, you really can't get a better pick than that. And he was considered to be a lottery pick, or at least a pretty mid-round first-round pick. But, obviously he fell down, and Boston got a heck of a bargain. So that's all I'll say about Boston. Great team. Next, the Nets. So the Nets are also a really interesting team this season. And I actually was talking to my friend about this. I would not be completely surprised if the Nets made the playoffs this year. And here's why. They have a talented squad. D'Angelo Russell, great player. Allen Crabbe, a really, really underrated player for his position. He's a good player. And I think, I'm looking at the roster right now, they have a lot of great players. Spencer Dinwiddie, he had an awesome season last year. There could be, D'Angelo Russell and Spencer Dinwiddie did kind of work together more towards the end, but D'Lo was out for a while. And there was some chemistry issues, but they really, I think they're going to be a good team. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, another great player. Jarrett Allen, very, very underrated pick from last year at number 20, I think. He was a very, very good signing. Very good pickup there. And he's a defensive powerhouse. And that dunk he had last season, probably dunk of the season candidate. But I want to talk about the draft picks. So they drafted 2 European prospects, Zanin Musa and Rodion Kuric. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But they're good products. Zanin Musa was, the 30th pick in the draft? Who was not really supposed to fall down that much. And there was a lot of talk about him only falling so much because he was supposed to take another year abroad, overseas, but he wanted to come this year. So, that's really not a knock to any of his playing styles. And Kuric is another kind of late value second-round pick, which is, I think, a very good pick, too. But the Nets, I just think, ever since their horror trade and their new GM has been doing the right moves, they've been taking on bad contracts, not terrible players, really. Bad contract. Oh, they signed Shabazz Napier, too, who's a very decent backup point guard. But I think that they'll be a good team this year. I think they'll be decent. And, oh, my goodness, I forgot. Ed Davis. Trailblazers, I don't know why you let go of him. Especially with the locker room presence he has. This is a good team. There's some young players, some good veteran leadership. Ed Davis, Allen Crabbe, a little bit of a former Trailblazers connection. I don't know if anything will happen there. But, I think that they'll be a decent team. I'd like to see them squeeze in the playoffs. I don't know if they will, but I just say I would not be surprised if they did. So let's move on to the next team, and that is the New York Knickerbockers. So, obviously, this is not going to be a great year for the New York Knicks. I think we all expect that. This is a developmental year for Kevin Knox and for Frankie... whatever his name is, the French point guard, 6'8", who I've been seeing a lot of videos on this offseason, who's looking very, very good. But I think overall the Knicks are just going to have they're just going to be bad. They're going to tank, get another draft pick. Porzingis probably won't be back, if at all. He probably won't be back till after the All-Star break. I don't see Kristaps really staying and being there so much. I don't know. I don't think the Knicks are going to do very well. I'm excited to see how Trey Burke plays. He played for the Wizards for a short time last year. I didn't really think he played bad. I don't think he played bad. I think that when you play you're playing behind John Wall, you're putting these unfair standards, and I'm happy he's getting this opportunity in New York where he's been shining, and there's Allen Iverson dreads. Nice looking. So the draft picks were obviously Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, another very, very good pick for where he was. What was his pick? He was a second rounder. Yeah, 36th pick. And he lit it up at Summer League. He's going to be good this season. He's going to be really good. And especially if Joakim Noah, if he shows up, he's not going to have competition for that spot. But I think the Knicks are going to be bad. They'll probably be one of the 2-3 worst teams in the East. But they're not being held to any standards. If they play well, good for them. If they're bad, we expected it. So that's kind of all what I think is going on in the state of New York. next we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Gosh, this Atlantic Division is a tough one, especially compared to the weak East. So the 76ers I have as the 3 seed in the East. And that is because I don't think this is their year. They're a great team. Ben Simmons, amazing. Joel Embiid, otherworldly. Saric, great player. Robert Covington, great player. Markelle Fultz, we'll see what he does this season. I mean, I think we're very excited to see how he does this season. Hopefully his shot mechanics are a little better now. That'd be great. Wilson Chandler, not sure I really love that move, but I mean, I can't really fault it, especially with Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova leaving the club, or the team, I should say. I'm not talking about soccer. T.J. McConnell, solid player. They're a great team, but they're not great yet. You know what I'm saying? They have the potential to be a very, very, very good team, but at this moment, I would not say they're a great team. They couldn't beat the Celtics last season, and that was with a ragtag group of Terry Rozier, Aaron Baines, Marcus Morris. I don't think there's anything they could say they could beat them now with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward back. I don't see it. And I think they're going to be a good team. They're going to be a tough team. They're going to be one of the top teams in the East. Obviously, they'll be probably top 6 or 7 team record-wise in the NBA. And I mean, I think Ben Simmons is a phenomenal player, phenomenal talent. I'm really going to enjoy him play this season, and I honestly just can't wait to see him get out there and just, I don't know, do what he does. I mean, ESPN, the NBA YouTube channel came out with an awesome mixtape of him. You should definitely go check it out and watch it. They put this cool, like, kind of club music at the back, trap kind of music to him, just doing all his dunks. And if you'll find out as you watch the channel, my favorite type of basketball player is a silky smooth, kind of small forward big man that makes elegant passes. I absolutely love that. So, like, E.J. Montgomery coming up, playing at the University of Kentucky right now, big fan. Just any player that is tall. Nikola Jokic, oh my goodness, I love watching him play. That's a center. Just tall players, unorthodox players who can make great passes is my sweet spot. But 76ers, good team. I can see them maybe making the conference finals, but I don't see them going to the finals this year. And that brings us to the team I think is going to finish ahead of the 76ers, which is the Toronto Raptors. Whew! Kawhi Leonard. I honestly didn't see it coming. I think this is crazy. Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. It still feels really weird to me to be saying that. But it's here. It's happening. And I'm excited to see how it works out. I don't like Toronto at all. They're probably one of my least favorite teams. And it's really, my friend's brother is a huge Toronto Raptors fan. He's so obnoxious about it. And I've always thought the Toronto Raptors are overrated. Ever since we swept them. The Wizards swept them 4-0 in the 2015-16 playoffs. Oh my gosh, it's great. But they just the last season, they were obviously a great regular season team. I just thought it's gonna be same old. You can't beat playoff LeBron, and they just did that. They got swept. But this move is a very, very good move. It's a terrific move, really. They needed it. So look, Kawhi Leonard, obviously good player. Kawhi Leonard's a great player. He's probably top 5 NBA player when he's healthy. And DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry were a good partnership, but they weren't going to be. It was going to be the same old. With LeBron out of the East, maybe they could have gone to the conference finals, but you weren't going to expect a championship caliber team there. Even if DeMar DeRozan, which I have to respect, I mean, mad respect for DeMar DeRozan, he really repped Toronto. And I can see how a lot of people are thinking he's been done dirty, which he kind of has. But if you're Masai Ujiri, you have to make that move. Like, Kawhi Leonard's a top 5. And Danny Green, too. You have an amazing defensive team right now. You have to make that move to shake it up. And who knows? I mean, yes, all signs point towards Kawhi leaving for LA in the free agent season. But, I mean, Paul George, we all thought the same with Paul George, but he ended up staying in Oklahoma City. So, I don't know. Kawhi may end up just liking Toronto and staying there. So we'll have to see. But Toronto, I think they're finishing second. They're a good team. That brings us to the Central Division. Another interesting division here. So we'll start with Chicago. The Bulls, yeah, it's just going to be another down year. I mean, a similar situation to the Knicks, except they're not really waiting for an injured player. They're just kind of waiting. They're having a developmental season. So all their young players, Wendell Carter Jr., Chandler Hutchison, and then their second-year players with what? Third-year players with Chris Dunn. Who was the Bulls draft pick last year? Oh my gosh. Bulls roster. Lauri Markkanen. Good player. Fantastic rookie season. And this is all just about them getting reps. Inserting Jabari Parker. There could be some spacing issues with that, with him and Bobby Portis. Gosh, Bobby Portis is probably my least favorite player in the NBA right now. You can't just punch a dude and then expect everyone to be okay with it. Denzel Valentine, Robin Lopez also in the center position. I don't know. I don't think you see them be good. I think they'll be one of the 3 or 4 worst teams but I think they could surprise us and maybe move up. I don't think there's a playoff spot there. But it's just this young gel of Parker, Levine, Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., Chandler Hutchison, Chris Dunn, all kind of mending together and just hoping they can just start to improve. I think 3 or 4 years when we start talking about the Bulls is maybe a playoff contender. Not right now. Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron's gone. Life back to not so good in Cleveland, but they'll be much better than they were when LeBron left in 2009, 2010, because they have an all-star, Kevin Love. Kevin Love is an all-star. He was a monster in Minnesota. Yes, he never made the playoffs in Minnesota, but we don't know what Kevin Love's capable of, really, with his team. First off, Kevin Love's team right now, supporting cast, is better than it was when he was in Minnesota. Rodney Hood, poor attitude, but he's someone to prove this season because he got a bad contract. He's someone to prove he'll play well this season. I really think he will. Then they have George Hill. Okay, Colin Sexton, 8th pick in the draft. Really, really like him. He's in the perfect situation to thrive. He is a monster when it comes to driving and making shots and creating opportunities, and he's in the perfect situation. There's no one else to hog the ball from him besides Kevin Love. I mean, I think he's I wouldn't say he's my dark horse for Rookie of the Year. I think he is my candidate to win Rookie of the Year, only because the situation he's in is so favorable for him. It's just, he has to go out and score. So that's good. I don't think Cleveland will make the playoffs. I really don't. I mean, Larry Nance Jr., who else do they have? Gosh. No one really of note. I'm trying to think. I mean, Kyle Korver, if he plays well, J.R. Smith. Old players, and then just some... I don't think Cleveland's going to make the playoffs. I don't think they'll be, terrible. And they won't be god-awful. They won't get, a good lottery pick or anything like that. But not too good for Cleveland. All right, so now we're on to Detroit. So... This is just, the East is not a great place to be. As in, it's a great place to be if you want to win. It's not a great place to be if you are looking for great teams. Detroit's just, they're going to be an average team this year. They might get an 8th spot in the playoffs, maybe if they're lucky a 7th spot. The Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond pairing, we'll have to see if that really works well for a full season, but I don't see them being too good. Reggie Jackson was injured for a while. See how he does back. They have Zaza now. They have Zaza and Jose Calderon. Yeah. Stanley Johnson never has really made the jump that people expected him to do. Henry Ellenson. Luke Kennard, he did a good rookie season. He will be a decent player, I think. Who they pick in the draft? Reggie Bullock was good. Reggie Bullock was a good three-point shooter. Kyrie Thomas and Bruce Brown Jr. Kyrie Thomas, I remember earlier right after the NCAA tournament ended, there was a lot of talk about Kyrie Thomas being a late lottery pick, and he fell all the way to the, round, 240th something pick? I don't know. He fell back. He's a good player. He's a good shooter. He's a good one for Pistons, but and Bruce Brown, too, even later than that. Still decent players, decent value players, but, I don't think there's much going on with Detroit. I don't see them doing much this year. It is what it is. So now the two exciting teams we should talk about in the Central Division, which is the Pacers and the Bucks. We'll start with the Pacers. My man, Victor Oladipo. I've been rooting for him ever since he left Indiana. And I always knew in the back of my head, this guy's going to be an NBA star. There's just no doubt about it. And, I mean, that was his breakout season. I mean, that was his year. I mean, he played fantastic. What was he, an All-NBA, second-teamer, third-teamer? Great player. Took a team that no one thought would do anything, thought would probably be a bottom dweller in the East, and turned them into, what, the 5th spot? I mean, that's incredible. Pacers started off hot, and I was, like, joking. I was like, there's no way they're going to do. They were better. They were ahead of the Wizards at the All-Star break, and I said, there's no way this team makes the playoffs. It was just a fluke. And they did better, and they were better than the Wizards this season. And I think a lot of that can be attributed to Victor Oladipo. And I really like the offseason moves that Indiana has made. Tyreke Evans, monster in Memphis. And he can only help. Coming off the bench, he will be an awesome player. The draft pick, Aaron Holiday. Good pick. Solid pick for, 23? Solid pick. I have no problems with that. He can. He's a long-term replacement for Darren Collinson, who, he's not getting any younger. Doug McDermott, good shooter. Good shooter surrounding Oladipo, good shooter is a good move. And, let's see, who else did they sign? From, from New York, they signed, what's his name? I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. This is just... Whew. Sometimes that brain farts. It is what it is. Looking for him. Kyle O'Quinn. My gosh, how did I mess that up? He's a good player. Wanted to be a winning environment. Miles Turner, I'd like to see him make his jump. This season should be the season. I know a lot of people were talking about last season. It was going to be Miles Turner's time. It wasn't. Hopefully now's his time. Domantas Sabonis, good player, going to be challenging Miles Turner from the limit minutes. And Bojan Bogdanovic, former Wizard. I wish we hadn't gotten rid of him. Can't play defense, but a great shooter, great role player. I like the Pacers. And I do think that they are going to be a top 5 team, maybe the 4th seed. We will talk about that at the end. So, now the Milwaukee Bucks. Another interesting team, and another team I'm really excited about this season, solely because of Mike Budenholzer. He's a great coach. I'm happy he's gone from the Hawks because no one wants to watch him coach a terrible team. The Hawks are going to be the worst team in maybe the NBA this season. But I like him a lot in Milwaukee. I think that's going to be the best coach Giannis has ever played with. And I think it's just going to be a good situation for the Bucks. So their signings they made Brook Lopez, great pick, immediate upgrade over John Henson. Gosh, John Henson shouldn't be getting huge NBA minutes. And he is a good floor spacer for Giannis. The thing that Milwaukee needs is space in the middle for Giannis. Giannis is not an outside shooter. He is an absolute beast when he gets into the paint. John Henson can't shoot threes. He can't space like that. Brook Lopez can shoot threes, can space. Milwaukee can have shooters on the perimeter with Dante DiVincenzo. John Terry is still there. Eric Bledsoe, Tony Snell, all around that perimeter. And they can let Giannis go to work on the inside. Play Giannis at center. Just do it. Giannis is going to put up insane numbers. He's going to lead the team in everything again. And I'm going to love watching it because who doesn't like watching Giannis? Don't be surprised if Milwaukee takes a top 3 spot. I'm not picking them to, but don't be surprised. I think Mike Budenholzer can do work magic for them. So now we'll move on to the Southeast Division, which is, in my opinion, probably the weakest division in all of basketball right now. Hawks, Hornets, Heat, Magic, Wizards. I'm not going to spend much time talking about the Hawks. Trae Young, we'll see how he does. I'm hoping he'll do well. This mini Warriors that Travis Schenck is making with him, Young, Herter. Go Terps, by the way. I'm a UMD sports fan, too, I guess. I live near UMD. Hoping to transfer there next year. My girlfriend goes to UMD. Shout out Lane Williamson. One time. and Omari Spellman, but they're gonna be bad. They're gonna be bad. That's all I really need to say about it. They're gonna be a bad team, but no one really cares. Getting attendance up. I saw recently that someone said they should give Quavo a 10-day contract. I don't think that's a bad move. The dude can kind of play basketball. He won't see any minutes, but he'll be a huge pull. People will come all around to see Quavo Huncho play basketball. Professional basketball. That'd be a cool move. The Hawks need to get their attendance up, but still, they're going to be bad this season, and no one really expects them to do any better than that. The Hornets. Gosh, the Hornets are a mediocre team. They've just been perpetually mediocre ever since making the playoffs 3 or 4 years ago. Kemba Walker seems like he's out, which is a shame because he really has proven to be a model player. He's been talked about his love for Charlotte, his love for playing for the Hornets. I mean, that's great for him. He will lead, what? Who else do they have? Jeremy Lamb, Cody Zeller, Frank Kaminsky, Marvin Williams. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. I mean, there's not a lot to get excited about. I think they'll probably make the playoffs this year. Nicholas Batum. Only because, like, the East is and they're like a decent team. They have Tony Parker now. Malik Monk. Yeah. Miles Bridges, I was never very high on him, and I thought I can't say I watched a lot of Michigan State basketball, but when they played Syracuse in the NCAA tournament in the Sweet 16, well, not the Sweet 16, they played them in the round of 32. Yeah, the round of 32. I mean, Miles Bridges just didn't show up. He didn't play well. So, I mean, we'll have to see with them. But I don't expect him to be very good. To be amazing. I mean, he's a good player now, but I don't think that he'll do much for the Hornets. Miami Heat's just another team I don't see being better than mediocre. I mean, they re-signed Wayne Ellington, which is a good move. I assume Dwayne Wade's going back. He hasn't signed a contract as of yet. Hassan Whiteside, what's going on with him? Bam Adebayo looks decent. Josh Richardson looks decent. Tyler Johnson is what he is. Derrick Jones Jr., though, I've been seeing a lot of hype around him. We'll see how good he actually is. I'm interested. I also think Justice Winslow will make a big I think he's a most improved player of the year candidate this year. He played really well in the playoffs in their loss to Philadelphia. I don't know if the Heat will make the playoffs this year. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not 100% positive. I think they might, only because the East is so bad, but I don't know. I just don't see them Heat making waves. Sorry, I'm not giving great context, but the Southeast Division is just not there's not much to talk about with them. The Magic are another team you don't have to talk about much, besides the fact that I do think the Magic will be very, very good in 3 or 4 years with their big men dominant lineup. Mo Bamba, very high on him, good pick. Jonathan Isaac, also keep an eye on him for the most improved player of the year. He was very good in Summer League, but I mean he was playing against rookies, but we'll see. Aaron Gordon, maybe an all-star this season. I don't know. Signed, a 4-year, $80 million contract? Not bad. But you don't see, I mean, their starting point guard is DJ Augustine. That's really all you have to know. Like, DJ Augustine is starting point guard, he's some problems. It's the same thing. Orlando is not going to be good. I mean, their fans are looking for just some sort of improvement. And if Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac play well this season, I think it's fair to say people in Orlando will be content. They won't make the playoffs, but, they'll be content. And now, my favorite team, the Washington Wizards. Very disappointing year for us last year. It was just, I don't know. I think Ernie Grunfeld's a bad man. I'm really thinking on soccer terms. Bad GM. I think we got complacent. There was chemistry issues. Everyone's talking about the Wizards as like this chemistry time bomb that you can't put anyone with us. It's just going to be terrible. But that's not the case. We're not going to be a big shit show. It just, Gortat, Wall, things got heavy. We'll have to see. I am excited for this season now, but I don't think we're going to crack maybe even the top 5 in the East. I would hope that we finish in the 4th spot, and that's where I'm fingers crossed. But I don't know. Our team's solid. John Wall, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter Jr. Very, very good backcourt, backcourt for Wall and Beal, and then frontcourt for Porter Jr. Porter Jr. is bound to make another leap. Beal and Wall, I expect all-star performances from them. And Markieff Morris, good there. And I really like Dwight Howard to the Wizards. Yes, he's a personality. Yes, he might not be great, He might suck. He might not be... Well, you can't say he's going to suck then. You can't, because he's never really proven that he's a bad player. He's just proven to be a polarizing player. And the thing that's different about this, I was actually reading about... I was watching Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer. If you don't watch The Ringer, I highly suggest it. It's my favorite sports outlet right now. He was talking about how Dwight Howard, at all the clubs he's been for, all the teams he's played for, up until now, he's gotten over $20 million each year. He's making just $5.3 million this year for the Wizards. He has a point to prove. And he's going to be amazing. He's never played with a point guard as good as John Wall. Steve Nash was the past his prime when he played for the Lakers with them. I think that he's going to be good. I think he'll play his good defense. He's a quicker, more athletic player than Marcin Gortat was. I can only see it improving for us. We've also added depth. We've lost Mike Scott, and I was kind of sad about that. We've added Austin Rivers, who's the best backup point guard John Wall's ever had. Thomas Satoransky filled in well for him, but he's the best backup point guard we've ever had. Jeff Green, hopefully he's fine. Troy Brown Jr., I was kind of... I wasn't really excited when we signed him, or we picked him in the draft at number 15. But I'm starting, his summer league performances were good. I'm starting to think maybe, maybe he was a good pick. And I'd like to see him do well. And then Yusuf Sanoun, he's not going to play for us. He's a draft and stash at 44. But that's what I think for the Wizards. I'm hoping for the best. So now let me kind of spell out who I think is going to finish, what the East is going to look like. And then I'm going to do a separate video after this for what I think the West is going to be like. So, number 1. No surprise, Celtics. No surprise there. 2, Raptors. 3, 76ers. 4. All right. I thought long and hard about who I'm going to put 4, and I think it's the Pacers this year. 5, I'm going to go with the Bucks. 6, pessimistically, I'm going to go with the Wizards. I'm only going to put them there because I hope they'll rise. And I was going to attempt to put them at 4, but we'll put them at 6 for now. So now we're looking at the last 2 spots in the East. I mean, might as well give it to the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, maybe they'll make some noise. You never know. In the 8th spot, it's between the Pistons and Cavaliers for me. But I think the Pistons should have a little more talent. I'll go Pistons. So it's Celtics, Raptors, 76ers, Pacers, Bucks, Wizards, Hornets, Pistons. So that would mean that the rounds go Celtics versus Pistons in the first round. Raptors versus Hornets. 76ers versus Wizards. I don't know, except for us. And Pacers versus Bucks. Celtics over Pistons in 4. I mean, no question. Raptors over Hornets in 4. I don't think there's any question there either. And then 76ers are better than the Wizards this year. 4-2. 76ers. And I'm going to go with the Bucks over the Pacers. I just think Giannis is going to have a monster season, and he's a point to prove. He wants to put Milwaukee on the map. So now we have Celtics, Bucks, Raptors, 76ers. A rematch, Celtics, Bucks. I forgot to mention Chris Middleton for the Bucks. Another very underrated player. I mean, Celtics, no surprise. I like the Bucks, but I don't know, Celtics. And Raptors, 76ers, I'm going to go Raptors. I think Kawhi's a little too much. Now it becomes Celtics, Raptors in the finals. It's going to be a hard fought series, but I think in the end, it belongs to the Celtics. So that's who I think is going to win the East. That's what I kind of thought about the East teams. I'm going to record a video after I go to the bathroom and do some other stuff about the Western Conference, who I think is going to do what's going to happen in the West. But until then, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe. And I'm just going to bring you more content. It won't always be basketball. I really like soccer and Premier League especially. And I have another good friend named Mark, who's a big soccer fan, who's more of a European soccer fan, so like Serie A and such, and Champions League. So I'll have him on and we can talk about that kind of stuff. But hope you like it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.